We're going to have some fun today. Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Remember, we volunteer for this, so we have to have a sense of humor, right, guys?
That is correct. That is correct. So welcome to the start. Oh, got a couple more people coming in. Hang on one second. I figured that was going to be the case. Okay. All right, so good evening, everybody. I'm Guy Fisher. I'm the Director of Club Development, and this is going to be the start of our webinar/meetings for club development across the country. We have got our special guest, Alex Niles. She is from Twin Brooks and multiple other clubs. Her breed is Rottweilers, and she has volunteered to be first up to work with us, and she's going to do a presentation on working smarter with AI for practical tools for managing your AKC club. So Alex, I'm going to turn it over to you. Please present your screen. And again, people, please keep yourself muted so that we don't get any echo. And I also want to inform everybody, I will attempt to record this. And then if you will please send your email in the chat to confirm your presence, then Alex is going to have some special things that she will email out to you tomorrow morning. Okay, Alex, it's all yours.
Well, thank you, everyone. I'm assuming since you're here, you're all part of some type of a club. I'm actually heavily involved in 4 clubs. I'm the president of the Twin Brooks Kennel Club. I'm a board member of the New Jersey Federation of Dog Clubs. I'm also a board member for the Colonial Rottweiler Club, and I am the webmaster for the American Rottweiler Club. So I've been involved since about 2013 in dogs, but I've been doing this online digital stuff for pretty much my entire career. I work with a number of clubs to sort of help them. And I don't know why it's doing this, guy. Okay. So the first thing I want to go through is why does this matter for club management? You know, AI is all over the place right now. Everybody is hearing something. And for most people, you're only using about 5% of this platform's capabilities. AI is a baby. Keep that in mind. Don't expect it. It will give you answers faster and in more volume than you can ever imagine. However, it still needs a lot of human hand-holding. And when we're done tonight, you guys are going to feel much more confident building your prompts and working with the different platforms so that you guys can save some time and just do more. You know, one of the things we want to do as clubs is keep our sport alive. And, you know, with the ever-shifting generation in AKC dog clubs, we need to be, bigger, faster, stronger. And we definitely need to make more noise. So this will help us do that, I believe. What are some of our current challenges? Well, we have a lot of, communication, documentation, and coordination. What are some of the things that take up our time as, club members? If you're on the board of the clubs, you have to do minutes. I was the secretary for 10 years before I took over Twin Brooks. So you're going to be doing minutes and follow-ups and reports. Maybe you're on committees. Everybody wants to know what's happening with your committee. The other thing is by having multiple people create stuff for your club that's outbound, what ends up happening is you have an inconsistent formatting and tone. So AI can kind of help you sound the same, which helps your brand. Believe it or not, each of your clubs is a brand. We also, so this difficulty of maintaining consistent messaging when you have different people involved, AI can help that. The other thing is being part of a club, we are actually beholden to multiple rules and regulations. Each club has their own bylaws. We have the AKC guidelines. If you're a full formal nonprofit, then you also are beholden to your state's nonprofit laws, our bylaws, our code of ethics if you're a breed club. So navigating the governance portion can be, stressful and confusing and difficult. So how is AI going to help you through this? It'll make it faster. It'll help provide you some clarity. It'll reduce the administrative tasks on your volunteers across the board. It will help you with governance and compliance. And it will help you crunch data and do better research. What are some of the popular tools that you can use? If you can, in addition to your email message, just so I get to know you guys a little bit better, tell me which platform you've tried. Here's some of the more popular ones. We have ChatGPT, Claude, GenSpark, Manus, which is really Facebook's attempt, Google Gemini, which is Google's. What I'm going to recommend is each of these platforms, and there's more. I actually have a list of 300 of them. If you guys are interested, I'm happy to share that with you. Some AI tools specialize and they do things better than other things. Some are more general, and all of them get better if you learn how to communicate with it. Just like, remember when the first time you ever went to a dog training class and you weren't quite sure what to do and you had to figure out how to, speak and communicate with this creature by your side? Well, AI is kind of the same. We have to learn how to work with it and talk to it. Now, there's two different pricing models. All of these guys have a free version, but I will tell you that if you find one you like, it's worth the $20 a month. So most of these first level cost about $20 a month. And if your club has the budget to do so, I would highly recommend you get a paid version. Chat is one of the only ones that has a flat monthly fee. These other ones, Claude, GenSpark, Manus, they work on a credit system. So every month, let's say your $20 buys you 10,000 credits. When you ask it to do stuff, especially creating videos or the social media graphics, it tends to take more credits. So it's happened to me several times where, like with GenSpark, I may be done with my credits by the middle of the month. So then I have to wait another week or two before my refill comes up. So I actually personally use multiple tools for multiple things. But my recommendation to you guys is pick one, start with one. And if you're not sure, I would go with ChatGPT as your number one to try, because it's universal, it's a generalist, and it does, for the most part, research, visuals. It's not that great with video, but it can do it. It also builds websites, which I actually have an example for you as well. Google Gemini is nice for graphics, so is Manus. Google Gemini has, you guys might have heard of something called Nano Banana. That's the imaging design engine for Google. So the very first thing you're going to do, and I'll show you this live, but just conceptually follow along with me. Whichever platform you pick, the first thing you need to do is teach it about your club. So how are you going to do that? You want to configure the tools specifically for your club. You could be an all breed, you could be a breed club, you could be a performance club. Whatever it is you do, you have to teach AI how this will work. So it's set up to treat it as an assistant, to support, not replace your club processes. You want to provide the club context, your purpose, your affiliation, your breed focus, and your tone. When I work with my clients on like general business, I would call this part the branding piece. So every company should have a logo, a brand, a tone that goes with it, and so does your club, believe it or not. You want to be able to reference bylaws, standing rules, policies. So what you'll want to do is gather up all of these documents into a folder on your desktop. And you also want to, if you have a prompt, so one thing with AI is when you ask it to do something, it's called a prompt. Constructing these prompts is something we're going to go through, because the better you ask the questions, the better responses you will get. The best practices, once you give it this background information, is you're going to want to start small. You want to choose one thing. So for example, take your Zoom meeting recordings and turn them into meeting minutes. You could do this in seconds. I'm sorry to interrupt, but is someone outside in the wind? Could they mute? Thank you. Sorry, I'm shouting over the wind tunnel. So you also want to try it out with, 1 or 2 people in your club. Don't like jump up and expect everybody to be an expert. Everything that AI generates, you want to review. Believe me, you want to review it. And then what you'll do is you'll train your officers on how to do the capabilities. So what are some of the things that you can do with AI? Meeting management, communication, and promo. So next week we're going to do another similar session than this, and the focus is going to be promoting your event and managing your event. Today's session is specifically about clubs. So some quick things you can do right away: turn your meeting transcripts into meeting minutes. You can pull out action items and directly assign those responsibilities to your committees. You can create follow-up summaries for all of your members. And you can also, summarize complex decisions and key discussion points. So sometimes when I take a transcript, I'll have it do a broad-based set of minutes. But if we had a really heated discussion about something, for example, my All-Breed show, talking about, are we going to put on a match this year? Or what do we need to do for, with our facility in order to get Fast Cat event up and running? So if part of your meeting has this detailed discussion, you can go back after you've done your meeting minutes and you can have it describe and say, just talk to me about my Fast Cat discussion, as an example. The other thing that's nice is you could do very clear member emails, updates, reminders, and very powerful, because we live on Facebook. Most of us do Facebook stuff for us individually, but we don't do as much for the clubs. Some clubs are very active on their Facebook page if they have a really good, conscientious person who can jump up and do it. Some clubs just don't have the bandwidth. So I'm going to show you how you can take your website, if you have one, and set up a social media posting calendar. So this way, while you're having your cup of coffee on a Sunday morning, you can copy and paste and put up your posts for the week. The other thing that's nice is sharing milestones, sharing achievements. How many times do we see something on Facebook and we're like, oh, gee, so-and-so won? Well, what if you could grab that little Facebook post, put it into chat, and just quickly generate an email that goes out to all the members of your club? This is how we can better communicate and support each other. Some of the other things you can do after the event, this is something, especially if you're talking about in a meeting, like you guys did something, you had any type of event, you could use AI to write up a recap. You could turn that recap into an article for your website. You could post that article on Facebook and get more people to your website. Why would you want to do that? Because all of us want to find new people so we can grow our membership. And this is one way to do it. We have so much knowledge in the club community. We have members that have been in this game for 50, 60 years, 15, 20, 30 years. What better way to literally, even if you sit down with them and you have an interview or you ask them some questions, if they have time and you record it, these pieces of information are treasures, not only for us, but also for any generation behind us. The other thing that's nice for membership growth is you can quickly design onboarding emails and welcome packages. So some clubs do this really well, I've seen, and other clubs, just kind of say, yeah, thanks, our meeting's on Tuesday, we'll see you there. But it would be nice if you join a club, you get a list of members, what you're good at, any local resources, your code of ethics. So using AI to sort of structure something that everybody gets when they join is a wonderful use and application. Financial summaries. If you're a club treasurer, you can actually take your bank statement, put it into AI, and ask it to pull up a monthly treasurer report. If you have many, many spreadsheets, or you're doing an annual summary, you can use AI to simplify it, or better yet, write the narrative. You can set up spreadsheets and track budget versus actual spending. Most clubs are run as businesses, and this is a nice, quick way to help us run them more efficiently. Some of the other stuff that you can do with AI that's very helpful: timelines. What if I told you that every year you can take your bylaws and any key dates, throw them into AI, and get back a beautiful monthly calendar with dates for the meeting, and if there's specific topics? That's something great for your secretary to share with the club. Disciplinary matters. Now, unfortunately, I had a personal experience. I was brand new. I've never done a disciplinary hearing before, but thanks to the power of AI, I was able to leverage the volume of information AKC gives you, and it helped guide me through the process. It actually wrote scripts for me based on the AKC details. It told me what parts I needed for the record, and what I needed to submit. So in terms of governance and compliance, it was really helpful. I mean, I honestly couldn't do it without its help. So just to recap, we'll look at doing some of these together: meeting transcript, monthly updates, promos via the social media posts. And then, we can, if we have time, we could look at financial summaries. But I'm actually going to ask you guys to put your thinking caps on and give me some examples. Maybe we can even do together. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning, AI is a baby. It's not as, it sounds really smart, it looks really smart, and it does things a million times faster than us, which is wonderful, but it's not always right. And many times you have to go through several iterations before you get something that looks familiar to you or is in the format that you want it in. I will tell you that if you keep using the same chat window over and over again, They have a name for it. I think it's AI hallucinations. I'm not sure. But AI actually can just go off on a tangent into some crazy place. And if that happens, you just say stop, you reset it, you go back, and then, restructure the prompt, and it'll give you what you want. But you have to review the outputs, and you definitely want to verify the facts. At least in the beginning, it does get better and better. So the more you use it, the more it knows about you. You can also tell AI to remember. So if it gives you something you really like, you can use words like, remember this. This is the format I want you to use every time I ask for blank. You can speak to it in that manner and it will remember. You want it to maintain a single source of truth. This is what I'm going to show you when you upload your own personal documents. AI is like loose in the wild. And if you ask it a generic question, it will literally go through the encyclopedia of everything the internet knows and give you the best of its answers. That doesn't mean it's the right answer. It just means it went all over the place and found answers. Sometimes that's helpful. Sometimes you want it to only focus on your bylaws. So this is where your source of truth, you have to give it your specific bylaws so it knows. You definitely want to document approvals and versions. You want to maintain a clear version for some of the records. And this is also with prompts. So you can build your own prompt library. As Guy mentioned, I made a present for everyone. I have a quick start guide for you guys, and I have a little page of prompts that you can literally, it's a swipe. You can copy and paste, fill in the name of your club, and, see what it can do for you. So I'm going to email that to you tomorrow. The other thing you want to be sensitive about is, personal information. That's what PII is. You don't want to share, this is the whole argument about AI in healthcare and things like that. Just be careful, think about what think about the information, and be sensitive to know that, you don't want to ask somebody's, height, weight, social security number. Those are things you probably want to keep off. And then again, human oversight. If you still want to circulate documents, so just because it helped you write a report or write a board thing or a committee item, you definitely want to still share it with the other members of the committee to make sure everyone's on the same page. Even our meeting minutes, I will send to one or two people and make sure that, hey, did I miss anything? Because sometimes AI isn't correct. I'll give you a funny example. So my name is Alex, which can be a boy or a girl. So sometimes when I read the notes, it might say him instead of he or her. Instead of she or her. So just read through it. You don't want to blindly send it out. So how do we get started? We're going to follow a few simple steps. We're going to start with one workflow. And if you've not done this yet, I would suggest to take your meeting recording and turn it into meeting minutes, because you can repurpose this. So that is a really good one to practice on. You also want to choose a tool. So I will give you guys a list. You'll have them noted as well. Try them out for size. See which one feels most natural to you. There's no right answer. You decide which one you want to use, and as I indicated before, consider chat. Claude is very good, but Claude is like the college version, where chat is sort of like you're still in high school, you're learning. The more fancier you are with your prompts, Claude can take you to places that I don't think chat is as fast or as good at. For example, Claude can build you an app. So if you were ever sitting in your meeting and say, God, I wish I had an app that helped me with my scent work, or I'm doing an obedience trial and I really wish I had a quick and easy access to something I created, Claude could literally build you an app. But of course you have to interact with it and work with it. Do your starter prompt pack. I'm going to give you some to start with. You're going to customize them. But what I'd like you to do is keep a document for yourself and your club. Once you customize them, if they work for you, save them. Copy and paste them into a document so you can refer to them and use them and share them with your club. Start with a few people. Maybe if you have a handful of committees, some clubs have a communication committee. That would be a great testing ground to start off with. And then just, help each other. Take a minute in the meeting, or call each other on the phone, share via email your successes. And if something didn't work for you or your club, let the other people know so we don't waste time. So we're going to go into some live examples next. And then we'll come back, and if you guys, well, first off, actually, does anybody have any questions so far? If you guys any questions so far, we're okay. We have a question, Jackie. Jackie, no? Oh, we can't hear you. Are you muted? Now you're unmuted. Guy, why can't we hear Jackie?
I'm not quite sure. I'm going to get to her right now. Hang on. She's unmuted. It must be her ability it must be her speaker.
Jackie, do you have an icon that says mic? See here? It's in the top right. It says mic. Do you have the right one selected? Okay. Maybe can you type your question into the chat and we'll address it that way? But while I have you and I can see all your faces, by show of hands, how many of you guys are already using AI? Cindy, great. And are you an all breed? Hands up for all breed. Breed specific. Mm-hmm. Okay, well that helps me because now I know which example to show you, and I have some really good breed examples.
Yeah, we're breed specific, obviously.
Oh, Jackie, we can hear you now.
Oh, you can?
I think I fixed it. We can hear you now.
Thank you. Besides having a dog club, we have a chicken club, so we're wondering if we can use this same program for our chicken club.
Absolutely. That's
okay.
That's great.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
So I'm going to show you some of the resources. So we're going to pretend and start from scratch. So one good source of truth here is the American Kennel Club did a wonderful job pulling resources together for clubs. Now, if you guys have ever been to this page like myself, you're like, oh my God, there's so much here, right? If you've ever had to rewrite bylaws or anything, well, they have a whole section for resources, and most of these are PDFs. So that's very helpful. A couple of years ago, Guy did a wonderful presentation at shows. It was like Guy on tour. And he did a presentation and education about shows and club development and being a show chair. So he put together this lovely document which had all sorts of links. And I read this thing and I downloaded it. And what's really nice is there's best practices papers in here. There's brochures. There's rules, event materials, applications, checklists. So all of these things, that are available to you, you want to decide what would be most meaningful. We'll go into more of this for the show session next week. But discipline guidelines you might want to download, procedural checklist. The other thing is we're an all breed, and then we have another. Here's a show manual. You want to download those things as well. Here's some of the part of the AKC Code of Sportsmanship, Personal Conduct. So here's all some great documents that you can download. And as you can see, I have a ton of them in here. We were using AI to help us rewrite our bylaws because we have to reapply for nonprofit status. So there's documents here that we refer. So when I generally use chat, and what I do is, the first thing I do is I want to create a project. So I've created a project. I'm going to go with TBKC. That's my Twin Brooks one. But if you wanted to create a new project, you would click here and put in your club name. And then just hit create product. When you do that, you want to leave this. Now, here you can decide a project would be, so for Jackie, she would have a project for her dog club and a separate project for the chicken club. And what you would want to do is, if you want them to be independent of each other, you would click project only. What you're telling AI is you only want it to look in the project. If you don't care and you want it to look over everything, you can just leave the default. But once you create this, there's a section called sources. And all the systems have the sources. They're handled a little bit differently. But for example, GenSpark has something called hubs. Manus has another one that has a library. So each platform is a bit unique. But here you'll see we have bylaw facts and questions. So some of the AKC stuff I have is in here. And these are all the different platforms. So this is what chat looks like. This is what GenSpark looks like. What's nice about GenSpark, although it's based on credits, you have, if you're doing a presentation, like your judge's ed or, a mentoring, you can do that with slides. If you're doing a spreadsheet, you can use sheets. Designer will help you do some really posters, flyers for your club. AI, images, music. I'll show you a fun example for that later. And some other, some video. You can actually do some video as well. That's great for social media. Gemini, again, they almost all have their own categories, and it's very interactive in the sense that it will help you. So how many of you guys use Zoom when you have your meetings? You do Zoom meetings mostly? Yeah? Okay. Does everyone know how to get the meeting recording and the transcripts? Yeah, pretty much. We'll do it real quick. So now I'm in our Zoom account. I go into Zoom. I hit recordings and transcripts. And in here, this is my meeting from last month. I click here. I'm going to download the files. We'll give that a minute. I'm going to go back over here to chat. So now I'm going to show you guys, we've set up the project, we've added the sources. Now I can go back to my chats. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it to create my meeting minutes. I'm going to click here. I'm going to add a file. Well, you can do it two ways. You can try. Not all of them will take this transcript. So when you download, I know it might be hard to see because the letters are kind of small, but it'll give you 4 files. This is the audio, the video, and what you want is the transcript. So hopefully it can read that. Now, because I have my system trained, one of the things you probably aren't doing that is very important is constructing your prompt. So the prompt has several parts. You always want to tell AI who it's going to be. So in this case, I'm going to just construct it as you would start out, saying you are the TBKC Club Secretary. Please, then you have to tell it what's the objective. Your objective is you want, formal meeting minutes. You have to give it the context. You want to give it a task. And the task in this case, I always say please, you really don't need to. But I want it to review this meeting transcript and summarize the key topics and action items. Please use our standard meeting minute format. Now, if you haven't given it that, like I know that my project here has a copy of one of my past meeting minutes. So we have a specific format and it should follow that format. Also make sure you give it a date. This is the March 10th general meeting. And then you can also say, I would like this formatted as a MS Word document. And then we let it go. Oh, so it couldn't read the transcript. Okay, so what we're going to do, it doesn't always read that file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the transcript. And I'm going to copy everything and paste it. There you go. And it really only takes a couple of seconds. And then what I usually do is I paste it into a Word document in our format. So it'll do the roll call and who was there. This is our structure. We have officer, committee reports, show reports. And then it just, it just continues. And if you're not happy with it, like in this case, I might want a little more detail about something. We had a discussion about storage. We have show items that we needed for storage. So I can come back here now and say, please give me more detail about storing our show items. And it'll break it out into more context. And sometimes I'm not a big fan of the bullet points. So I can come back and ask it to do more of a narrative. This is very helpful when I do things like blog articles. So I know some of you guys, did that all kind of make sense? How quick and easy it was to do the meeting minutes? And that, I mean, that's kind of like, that's the basic stuff. The other stuff you can do, and I'll show you a couple of examples of things that I've used AI for. So we recently, last year, we, for the American Rottweiler Club, we wanted to update our website. They told us they wanted us to submit the breeder education for the Eddie Award. So if you look at our breeder education page that we did get the Eddie Award for, every single piece of this started out 4 to 5 educational presentations. That's what we had to start with. And we worked with AI and 2 other people. We got this page built, ready to rock in probably 3 weeks, which is significantly, and this was approved by everyone involved. We pulled images, we pulled breed standards, we broke out articles. We literally, you name a piece, all of this came from a PDF, something that was done 10, 15 years ago. We pulled out all of the stuff we needed. We cleaned up photos. So in this case, you can see we had to do some photo editing. I don't think they did much with the videos, but we had video editing as well. Just everything on this page was done via AI. For the most part, most of the words were written. We also did that for the other. So one of the things I wanted to show, because we have some breed clubs here. I wish I could show you the before of this club website, because this club has so much personality, and one of their main goals this year was to grow membership. And the old site, let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is what it used to look like. Maybe some of the sites you've seen out there for clubs may have looked like this. But I think we did a pretty good job transforming it, because this is more the style. These guys are fun. It's like going to camp. Our show every year is like a campsite. And AI helped us build every single one of these pages, including some of the articles. So we had a lot of articles that we liked, that we found on Facebook, and we just kind of picked them and used AI to help us rewrite them. And of course we gave credit back to the original source. But they just stuff, we took old newsletters. Let me see if I can give you a quick example. So I'm sure several of your clubs have newsletters. Oh, I actually have a good example here in the New Jersey Federation. I recently did that for them. So if you have old newsletters laying around and you want to quickly write up some articles, hold on. I had given it the newsletter. I uploaded it. So here's the PDF of our newsletter. And I very quickly asked it, please review the club newsletter and give me a list of blog articles we can write based on the content. So this one little newsletter gave us information on all these different topics. Regulatory, there's a lot of stuff happening now with breeder regulations. Do you need a USDA license as a breeder? Dog laws, Penny's law. So this was a lot about legislation. We don't have to accept.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
Alex, there's a question in the chat.
Oh.
Do you have a website example for general kennel clubs that are not breed specific?
At this time, well, yes, the New Jersey Federation.
Okay.
And this was also, now the website wasn't built using AI, but all the words were. So even like our member clubs, you know, we went in and taught it. You know, so for example, I can do this. Let me show you a fast one because I know we're getting almost to the top of that hour and I'll take some more questions. But here's something I wanted to leave you with. Social media. You can actually take a link to your website and I can ask it this. Now, this assumes that your mission and goals are clearly defined on the website. But let's see what it comes back with. And you can do this with any of them. And in fact, the person asking the question, do you want to give me your website? I'm willing to try something like this for a link. So here's some articles that it came back. So, like, if I like this topic, I can quickly go, please write me an SEO-friendly article about and now it'll actually write the entire article. It will go out to the internet and grab sources, so you'll want to be careful about the links. Make sure you include those. There's also tools out there called Humanize, which if you feel like it reads a bit robotic, you run it through Humanize and it'll make it sound a little bit better. But it will learn your tone. So the person asking the question, do you want me to try one for your website?
He did provide the link. It's www.stclairkc.org.
That one like that, Claire, C-L-A-I-R-E?
Yes, C-L-A-I-R.
And then what?
So after it's www.stclairkc.org.
Okay, let's take a look. Awesome. So you guys have a whole bunch of stuff here and some shows. Great. Now watch this. You guys want a social media calendar or some articles? Well, since we just took a quick look at this, why don't we try to do some social media articles? So what I'm going to do is say, you are a social, remember we always have to tell AI who it is. Chances are we're posting on Facebook. So I'm asking it to give me a content calendar for April. Let's see what it comes up with. So this is giving it some general background. Now, I'm doing this to help teach AI to think ahead. So it's structuring it in a week, like a week by week cadence. But now I can say, please write me engaging posts for week 1. I want 5 posts and include hashtags. Okay. So now at first it did the calendar thing, and now it's doing a post by post by post. So the monthly meeting invite. Now it's asking some questions. It saw that you did some rally and obedience. It's suggesting you do a member spotlight. Now this is where you can come back and say, for example, for this one, it's an engagement post where you're encouraging people to show pictures of their dogs. This is a little soft promotion. Now, again, this is a cold question, meaning I have no background set up. I don't have any additional information on your club but the website link. But I can now say, please create an image so what I'm trying to show you guys is you want to do things in layers. So first I had it think about the whole month, so it framed the weeks. Then it came in and did, I said, give me the actual post for the week. And now I turned around and I said, please give me an image that goes with that post. Now I can give it more detail. And I'm sure this isn't your logo. But again, now you have something, a little bit something to work with. The other thing is if you have a premium list, where did I put that one? I actually had it built. So one of the cool things, I'm trying to find where I put it. Well, it was definitely in here. Hold on. You can search your chats. Okay. So this is a funny one. For Twin Brooks, it's like the shoemaker's child. I actually don't have a website for them. But earlier today, it took me about 15 minutes. For testing, I uploaded our bylaws and I asked it to create a website for the Kennel Club Twin Brooks. I also gave it some images. And this is what it showed me on screen. So all I did was upload my bylaws. I'm not going to make you guys sit through this because it did take about 5 minutes, a solid 5 to 7 minutes for AI to generate this. But as you can see, it wrote text and had a structured, this is our show, the date, the year. So it actually generated a quick website on the fly. I gave it some photos, and what came out was this. So after I uploaded some photos, it actually did this. Which isn't too bad for 10 minutes of work. Like, I could take these files and put them up on a server and point them to the website, the domain name I have, and I would have a fresh new website. And that was all done with AI through ChatGPT. Again, all the platforms do it. Did we have any other questions or want to see another example? No, a lot of info.
There's a question from Barbara. Are there different art styles for AI? The images all have a certain look.
Yes, there are, Barbara. And you know what? You can control how the look is. Most people don't take it to the next level. Meaning, I can ask it to, you can say, please do this in a modern style. Please do this as a pencil sketch. So I've actually, for Meet the Breeds, we gave out coloring books. We took actual photos of our dogs and made them into coloring pages, asking it because we wanted it to be done in a style. Do you want me to show you an example of how you can get the different styles? Yeah? All right.
I think she does.
We'll do one.
And then also we also have an additional question, Alex. It's how would you upload a bank statement but keep personal? Actually, Barbara said no. I wasn't sure there were different styles. So she doesn't need an example at this time.
Oh, okay.
But Jen says, how would you upload a bank statement but keep personal data off of it?
Well, if you're going to, remember when you set up the project, what you want to do is before you do something like that, you would want to lock it to the project. So under the setting here, remember default project only. You would want to make sure it was locked in to the project. If you leave it on default, it's more likely to be found. But I will show you an example based on different styles. You're going to laugh. Where did I do that?
Alex, another question.
Yep.
Cindy writes in, you started to talk about premium lists. What can you do with one in AI?
Okay. I'm trying to see if I have one already built out. Well, I actually took... Oh, no, this isn't the one. All right, well, let's just do one. How about that? I have a premium list for a specialty coming up. So I'm just going to pull that up. Where is my specialty? Here it is. Okay, so this is straight from Rao. It's the regular old premium list. No tricks up my sleeve. And now I can say, ask it questions. For one, how many times do you need like a quick reference? Where some stuff you've built over time. But if you already have the information, you can interactively ask it questions. So, give me a list of judges in a table format indicating dates. So asking it to organize, you can use words like compare, create a table for me. So this is formats when you copy and paste this into a Word document, it's a nice little reference sheet. And that just pulled it right out of the premium list. The other thing we did, and I'll say, I don't know how long it's going to take. It could take a minute. But I actually turned this premium list into a website. That's what I was actually looking for. Because it had interactive things. Now, this is a good example because this is a 4 to 5 day show. So you probably wouldn't need this for a weekend or, 1 or 2 day shows. But this one is, it's a specialty, so it's several days long. And it's actually going to go through its process. It takes a minute. And see, there it goes. It's doing the code. It's reading all the things that they're offering. They're offering all these different events. It's picking up the venue. It's picking up the address. It's picking up all the different deadlines, everything. And, it takes a minute, but it's a lot faster than me doing this. So that's something you can do with the premium list. You can use the premium list to set up social media. So this is a good quick thing to do with the premium list.
I have a question regarding the premium list and I think this will probably be one that'll be well received by the people here. Can you use AI to help proof and update your premium list from year to year?
You can. But what you're going to want to do is probably upload the old one.
Yeah.
And then if you have your changes in a document,
yep,
like you would have, it can definitely compare. So if you took the one you had from last year and you input all of the changes, you would then say, please review the premium list from our 2025 show and, clearly update it with this content. And it will go...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
It'll go back and forth and just probably give you the new premium list in a Word document. That's probably the best it could do.
That's what I was hopefully you were going to say, because we have got some superintendents that are moving to an exclusive format that they're only going to communicate through email and updates. And if we can make the process simpler for our show chairmen across the country to basically condense everything and basically create a Word document and submit, instead of going back and forth to the superintendents 4, 5, 6 times, just let the club and the show committee work it all out, factor it out, and then come with a finished product of a Word document, all nice and clean, and then resubmit to the superintendent. So that's very helpful. Thank you.
Well, I can actually try it. I don't know how far I'm going to get but remember, I trained my AI, has a lot of information about Twin Brooks right now. Here's our premium list from 2025.
Okay.
So I'm going to say, you are an expert editor. Based on what you know about Twin Brooks Kennel Club in 2026, please read and review the content. You have to
be very specific. I
yes,
understand.
very, very specific, and in layers. We're probably gonna have to come back and give it more information to be smarter. Does that make sense?
But it'll work. But it's actually a helpful tool all the way through and through.
Yeah. So let's just say, please review 95 and extract all the copy from this PDF. Make suggest updates for 2026 and give back to me in MS Word. Fingers crossed.
So while that's calculating, Alex, we have another question.
Okay.
Jen asked, can other people in the club use the same chat GPT ? How does that work?
Well, there is a login. So for the paid, for the paid version, there is an update. Meaning that you would have a username and a login. Like I log in with my Google account. So the best way to do this is if you have a Google account for your club, sign your AI up to that. Some of the other platforms like GenSpark, they have a team hub. So here you can create a team. Let's say you have your board members on it. And you can decide who's here, who isn't. Let me see, get to the hubs here. You can also share a folder, share hubs. Specifically, let me see if it'll let me do that here. So if I click up here and I go share, if you're working on something like this, you can copy this link and you can send it in an email to anyone, and then whoever you send it to will be able to click in here and look.
That's fantastic.
And they can continue the conversation.
So the whole show committee can actually work together in the privacy of their own homes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And it might be easier to do, I stopped it because I asked it too much at once. See, sometimes it gets confused, Guy, and I don't like this outcome. Now, I didn't give it, I do have an example somewhere deep down where I took bylaws. We had to update our bylaws. And what I was able to do was I took the old bylaws, I took the AKC guidelines, I gave specific instructions on what I wanted to highlight, and then I told it to compare and contrast to do the red line version. And
gotcha.
After, half a dozen iterations, we were able to pull that together fairly quickly. Certainly faster than if 3 people did it by hand, So in this case, I probably should have started with extract all the copy from this premium list into a Word doc. Because sometimes what I'll do is I'll have it do something like this. Then I go back and I upload it again. So I'll download the Word document that it pulled. Then I'll come back and upload it and upload a second document. And then I can say, hey, compare these two documents. And then here, like, do you see the question it asked? It said, this is a clean extraction. Well, I didn't want the primary sections. Thank you for interpreting my request. AI will do this because I tend to ask for a lot of summaries. So it's trying to be a step ahead of me, right? But what I would do here is say, no, I want 100% of the document line by line, including the legal text, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and then, or rebuild it into a fully redesigned version ready for RAW submission and marketing use. The other thing is that AI is very smart. It understands platforms. So, for example, if you're doing something for Facebook, you say, do it for Facebook. If you're submitting for RAW, you know, you can say, using this standard, or, you know, as long as the instructions are somewhere publicly accessible, such as the AKC website, because you guys have extensive forms and millions of instructions, AI can find it without you providing it, if that makes sense. But you just want to double check. The other thing that's kind of cute, and I was just going to use this to show you that the different flavors, the different styles, just like with images. So earlier I did this cute little thing. Where is it? Where's my Gemini? Here you are. Okay. So I told it to write a song. Have you guys tried the song thing? Well, if you haven't, it's lots of fun. I gave it the Colonial Rottweiler Club website, and I told it to give me a rap song. So here's style number 1. This would, same thing with the images. So if you want the image not to look the same, you have to specifically tell it. So in this case, I said, write a rap song.
Yeah, CRC, let's get it. Colonial Rottweiler, you know the name. Legacy, lineage, built for the game. Muscular structure, flawless.
Then I said, well, I don't know about that. See the difference in style? And it generated this video.
CRC, Colonial Rottweiler, you know the name.
I told it to give me an 80s pop version. Then I wanted a rock version. Now, if I had provided it with images or video, it would have actually created the whole music video for me. But then I wanted a happy country song.
Oh, yeah, gotta love that CRC. Colonial Rottweiler, you know the name.
You can also tell it to do stuff in different styles. So I know that was a really silly example. But by giving it examples, giving it something to reference, I see Jackie's like wheel spinning. She's like, I could do some really crazy fun stuff with this. But you can, I mean, even with the words, like you can go to chat and you can say, write me a love song, you know, in the voice of Snoop Dogg, and it'll build it. So, but that's by literally, it's how you construct the prompt. So I just want to leave you guys with, and you'll have this in your handouts. So the prompt is what gets you what you want. Don't give up. If you ask it generically, you'll get generic back. If you ask it specific, it will better understand what you're looking for. So you always have to say what the role is who you want them to be, what it is you want as the final format, whether it's Word, whether it's a table, whether it's a spreadsheet. One thing we didn't touch much upon was member management. How many times have you guys had multiple spreadsheets? Maybe you've had turnover in your organization. We're going through this with a couple of clubs now. I can actually upload 2 spreadsheets, tell it to match on email address, because that's generally an anchor or a phone number. And I can say, please pull it into one spreadsheet and include the proper columns for date joined, what type of membership. I've done a few membership works implementations, and we were able to, build out the spreadsheet we needed using AI's help. You have to be specific about the task. Do you want it to read and review, or do you want it to design an image? So, that's very, very clear. The format and the constraints. So for meeting minutes, for example, you can say something like, keep the minutes factual and concise. Don't include the side chatter. Because sometimes if you guys we've been in meetings and they just go on and people go off on 20 tangents. But by saying, give me a summary or give me the key highlights, stay on point. Don't do the side chatter. You'll get a better result. And then if you don't like it, the first time, try it again. And also name the audience. So, for example, the premium list update. You would even say, Guy, so that I could submit it to Row Dog shows. If you're doing, an event, or you're having something happening, which we'll go into more because there's more ways to promote. But when you speak, even on a website, if you're doing an article for your website, you would say, write this article for people new to rally. Or this is write this article for people who have experience showing in obedience or AKC obedience. Because what happens is when you're less specific, all of a sudden you'll be like in my case, Guy, it'll start pulling like Schutzhund or something, and I'll be like, oh, no, I wanted AKC obedience. Like, I didn't tell you AKC. Otherwise, it'll just go off and mix and match and do whatever. But that's part of the quality control. So we're rounding out. I mean, we're almost pushing to an hour and a half. I appreciate it. I'm happy to keep answering if you want to go. But and I say, Barb, I didn't even see you were here. She's muted, but hi, Barbara. She was the lovely lady that did our beautiful newsletter for the New Jersey Federation, and gave us all those blog articles we can post online.
A lot of people are saying thank you so much. I don't see any other questions. Jen said she was kind of afraid of AI, so hopefully this is giving her new hope to possibly try it and work with her club. That's the whole goal.
You can't break it. So the number one thing is you can't break it. And if it gets stuck or does weird things, this is my rule I've been in computers most of my life and career, so I just say, you know what, computer, I can unplug you. I will win because I can unplug you. And with AI, I can just stop you and start you up all over again. But you can't break it, so there's no harm in trying.
Well, again, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank Alex for doing this and taking her time to present what has been working successfully for her clubs. As you know, club development through the AKC is here to facilitate good communication between other clubs to promote what is working for clubs. You guys, Alex said it earlier, and I say it in a lot of my presentations, you guys are 100% volunteers. AKC wants you to succeed with your clubs, and we want you to keep moving forward. And we are going to continue to have these webinars on a monthly basis, maybe twice. Like next week, we're going to have part 2 to Alex's AI working with clubs. And if you guys have any other ideas, please shoot me an email. We will get it formatted and we will get it out there for public consumption. So with that, Alex, do you want to briefly discuss what you're going to talk about next week?
Yeah, so the next session, it's kind of like part 2, is where we're going to talk about promoting an event. So many of whether it's an all breed, a specific performance event, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get into not only the social media, but also how to come up with your due date calendar. We're going to talk about how to promote it. We're going to write press releases and actually find local newspapers. Like you could do a search just like with Google, but unlike Google, if you use AI, a lot of people use AI like Google. But let's say I said, find me the 5 newspapers in my geography, wherever your show is being held. I can then turn around and say, now write me a media alert or an article to send to the newspapers to talk about my show. Things like that. So we're going to specifically be about events. And if you guys have any questions, friend me on Facebook. There's my email. There's my phone number. Feel free to give me a call if you're stuck. I'm happy to help because that's what I do. Thank you.
Next webinar with Alex will be on April 15th at 7 p.m. Those that received the email and the invite, there was 2 emails sent out, or 2 Teams meeting webinars sent out. The big distribution through AKC contained both links. If anybody has misplaced that second link, feel free to email me or Alex or message us, and we will get you that link again for next Wednesday. I thank you very much for taking the time out of your Thursday evening to be with us. Again, Alex, I can't say enough thank yous. And to each and every one of you here, thank you for what you do with each and every one of your clubs. Again, without you, we wouldn't be the AKC and we wouldn't have places to go use to have our beautiful dogs participate. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you.